Hello, this is Debbie Seidel-Bidke, President of Dental Practice Solutions, and I'm here today with Kent Harlan. He's a CPA from Springfield, Missouri. Kent is the owner of Ozarks Capital Funding. Kent, can you please tell us about your accounting and finance background?
Well, Debbie, I've been a CPA since 1984 and have held controller positions with various companies and also performed accounting and consulting services for firms in several different industries. I've also been involved in brokering financial services for businesses and healthcare providers for the past 8 years.
Well, what type of financing is Ozarks Capital Funding involved in?
Well, Debbie, I started OCF in 2003, and at that time I primarily marketed accounts receivable factoring services for businesses. Factoring is a financial tool that allows companies to monetize their business-to-business receivables. Now, I eventually added equipment leasing for businesses, and about 3 years ago, I decided to include financing for healthcare providers and dentists. Today, Ozarks Capital Funding focuses almost entirely on these services, which include practice acquisition loans, equipment financing, funding for tenant improvements, and debt consolidation loans.
Kent, you mentioned that you provide equipment leasing services. Why should dentists and other doctors lease equipment?
Leasing is an excellent way to finance for a number of reasons, but probably the biggest plus is that a dentist can acquire state-of-the-art equipment with very little cash down. Leasing also provides tax advantages, improves cash flow, conserves your business credit lines, and is a relatively simple process to apply. When a dental professional is thinking about acquiring new equipment, he or she should project the amount of monthly income they think will be derived from the purchase compared to the amount of the lease payment.
Kent, as you know, I consult with dental practices across the country and actually the entire world. I've found that many of them are profitable, but the one problem, their cash flow is constricted because of many monthly payments on outstanding debt. So, Kent, can you tell me what advice you would give to help dentists deal with this situation?
Well, Debbie, you're right. There are many dentists who have accumulated several individual debt obligations and leases over time, and the individual monthly payment can negatively affect cash flow. We can often consolidate the individual debts into one obligation over a longer term by refinancing the practice. This can free up an amazing amount of cash flow for the practice. In fact, we're closing on a transaction later this month in which a dentist in New Mexico who has 2 locations will save approximately $6,000 per month in debt service expenditures. So you can imagine what things he can do, $6,000 a month, to help his practice. Now, with interest rates at the lowest amount in years, it would be definitely worth the time for a practice owner to see how a debt consolidation could help the cash flow of the business. And I'll tell you, we can do a free, no-obligation analysis of the practice's debt structure to see if such a consolidation could be beneficial.
Wow, Kent, that's huge. I've spoken with many dentists that have a huge debt situation, and I know $6,000 could benefit many of my clients in particular.
Sure.
I know that it's tougher for dentists to get financing because of tighter underwriting requirements. What are some of the general requirements that must be met to get approved for financing?
I'll tell you, of chief importance is the dentist's credit score. And I'm sure many people assume that all dentists are rich and have no credit issues, and that's just simply not the case. I've come across many who have had problems in that area because dentists can get into credit trouble just like anybody else because of divorce, overextending credit card balances, or other circumstances. But for conventional loans, lenders require a minimum credit score of around 670. SBA loans aren't quite as restrictive, but they still must show a history of financial responsibility. And we'll try to help the dentist take steps to improve their credit score if they're kind of deficient now in hopes that they can qualify in the future. Now, with all this being said, we do have a program for a dental professional to lease equipment up to $150,000 with substandard credit. But I have to tell you, the rates are as high as 15 to 20%. But again, even if they're paying that rate, they still should look at the amount of revenue that can be derived from purchasing the equipment compared to their payment.
Kent, thank you for the valuable information you've given us today. I really appreciate your time. This is Debbie Bidke. Kent's been talking to us today about how to accomplish some of those goals and dreams that you may have. And Dental Practice Solutions has ways for you to keep your dental practice on task. If you can go to our website, dentalpracticesolutions.com, we can guide you to stay focused on your goals. These are goals that you want to keep you productive, and we will help you to create goals that will come to fruition very quickly. Thank you again, and we hope to hear from you very soon.